Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insiders. We come to you from the locker room today. I'm Stephen King. We're going to be talking some Islander basketball as the 2012-2013 season has come to a close. We're joined by Royce Chadwick, head coach of Islander women's basketball, in just a few moments. But right now we're talking with the men's coach, Willis Wilson, as he joins us here. Thank you, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Well, all things considered, doing well.
I understand. Now the season has come to a close. There's no doubt. Not exactly the way you wanted to finish things out, but the way the schedule played itself out, you ended up with two of the toughest teams in the league for sure, with Northwestern State and Stephen F. Austin. Tell me about your team over the weekend and the effort they put forth and the battle they put forth.
Well, the two toughest teams, the outright league champion and then the runner-up. So it was a tough weekend. But the truth be told, we played really good basketball over the weekend. We just were a little bit outmanned. Hamid Ali was a real setback for us. We didn't actually lose him. He really fought through a lot of pain to be able to play just the limited minutes that he was able to give us. But with him healthy, maybe the outcome of both those games could have been a little bit different. But I will say this for our basketball team, Stephen, we made a lot of progress over the course of the years. And Coach Casper from Stephen F. Austin was very, very complimentary of our team and the progress that we made, as was the case with Mike McConaughey and a number of other coaches that we faced down the stretch. And we show a lot of promise for our future.
You know, anybody who's watched this show and has followed the program closely has heard us talk about the word process. The season is concluded now. Tell me your assessment of the word process and how it relates to this team.
Well, I'm going to answer that twofold. One is that this will be the first real off season that we've had. This will be my third spring. But this will be the first off-season program for our team. And when you start talking about process, working on skills and working on strength and working on athleticism and really trying to blend those three things together, that's a big, big part of the process as we get further and further into the summer with our tour coming up next August, with the team going to Italy and being able to practice 10 days. It's going to give us an opportunity to have a bona fide mini camp and to get a couple exhibition games under our belt as we go into the fall. And then from there, it's back to kind of building our team back up, if you will, and putting some finishing touches on our program. But when you start talking about process, kind of in a global sense, the second thing that I would say is that we have an opportunity now to really begin to build a championship defensive team. We have an opportunity for guys to know where their shots are coming from on offense and having an opportunity to work on those shots. This past couple of years, we've just kind of been going blind in the dark, so to speak, and doing a lot of things on the fly. But now we have something that we can look back and say, oh, this is what we're doing, so this is how we need to do things. And that's a big, big, big step forward for our basketball team just to be in that position.
Now, you look at the team itself and the number of the individuals on the squad. We talk about Will Nelson and Jonathan Jordan on a regular basis, but tell me about some of the other players, some of the guys that may have really developed. Maybe somebody that, from the first day he stepped on the court with you till the last minute of the last game, someone who really grew up in the game of basketball.
Well, I think the one guy that probably showed the most growth overall was Hamid Ali. And he was a guy that we really needed to count on to be vocal, to be a leader. For a guy that came in at a whopping 145 pounds, he's up to about 165, 170 almost. But his wired frame, he's learned how to play a physical brand of basketball, and over the course of the season became a much, much more consistent. Nate Maxey continues to show tremendous upside, just tremendous upside with his ability to do so many different things for us on the basketball floor. His scoring has come around a little bit. He's got that patented lob dunk down, but there's a couple other areas that I think we can really hone in over the course of the offseason to really get him to be more of a consistent offensive threat. But I'd say that those two guys in particular, and then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the freshmen. I think all the freshmen really, really stepped up and gained valuable experience. And what you saw late in the season was Jelani Curry and Dale Francis, along with Brandon Pye. Those three guys were on the floor for us quite a bit, and there were times where we'd have three freshmen on the floor with a couple of sophomores and played quality basketball. So again, I think our future is very, very bright.
a lot of people think once the season is over, you just kind of shut it down for a little while. That's not really the case. You guys are actually kind of, in certain ways, actually accelerate what you do. A lot more things to do, a lot more time on the road. The recruiting continues. A lot of people think that is complete. That's by no way, shape, or form.
Well, the recruiting is a non-stop process. And for us, even the fact that we didn't have any seniors this year, we do have a scholarship available. We are looking for guys to replace what I think is going to be a quality senior class with Zane Knowles and Joy Williamson and Will Nelson. And so it is a nonstop process. And for us, we came here to build a championship program. Backing up to some comments earlier in the program, we're trying to build for the future, and that's why we came here. And so there's a lot of foundation that needs to be laid. And we talk a lot about character, toughness, and talent, and we've done a pretty good job of instilling those and kind of building that culture within the locker room. And now that culture's got to continue to grow beyond the locker room and beyond the gymnasium into all the other things that we're doing.
As we just look at about a week ahead here with the Southland Conference Tournament coming up, do you have any thoughts as it relates to that? The Southland, who might be in contention for the title, and how the league might fare in the NCAA's this year?
Well, when you look at the brackets, Stephen F. Austin definitely has the upper hand. Northwestern State is a terrific basketball team, and I think very, very talented. But Stephen F. Austin is such a disciplined basketball team. Oral Roberts, I think, kind of is the spoiler in the mix. They were the preseason favorite coming in. They had the preseason player of the year coming in, but the circumstances obviously are very fluid, and that's why you play the basketball games. I don't think anybody expected Stephen F. Austin to have the kind of year that they did, but to their credit, they pretty much grinded out this year with a 6-man rotation. I think the key for them is, will they be able to play back-to-back-to-back on 3 nights, because their depth is not what some of the other teams are. But I think we've got a couple of clubs in Northwestern State and Stephen F. Austin in particular that could go to the NCAA tournament and really do some damage for our league. And we're really hopeful that they'll have a successful campaign, whichever team makes it.
Absolutely. Well, we hope people are asking that question next season about the Islanders and what damage they can do in the NCAA tournament.
Well, I think the one thing that our guys took away from the last road swing going to Northwestern State and Stephen F. Austin is that we can play with the best teams in our league, and we can be as good as the best teams in our league with what we have now, with the pieces that we'll add and with the off-season program. We should be able to make significant progress going into next year.
It all starts, well, today, I guess, as we get prepared for the 2013-2014 campaign. Coach, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay with us. When we come back, more Islanders Insider, as we'll check in with our Islanders tennis program and Teddy Medina bringing you the story. So stay with us. More to come in a moment on Islanders Insider.
What's Massage Envy Spa? For me, it's healthy, it's affordable. I mean, he always wants
pain relief.
Right. And I want a healthier complexion. And now we can get a customized massage or a healthy skin facial.
At a really good price.
At a great price. And nothing feels better than that.
Customized massages and healthy skin facials, all at the perfect price. Start a healthy routine today with Massage Envy Spa.
Go, you'll see.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, let's check in with our field correspondent, Teddy Medina, as he brings us up to speed on what's happening with Islanders tennis and their tremendous success this season.
It's a golden era for Islanders tennis. For the first time in school history, both the Islanders men's and women's tennis programs have achieved national ranking simultaneously.
Well, I love this university. This is my hometown, and I've seen this university grow from the first year it had athletics. So, you know, it's to see this university, one of only 34 in the nation, with both teams in the national top 75 rankings, is a pretty special thing for this university. I'm always wanted to do something good for this school. It's just my school and my city, so I'm very happy about that for this university.
Before my freshman year, the team was actually starting to rise just a little bit more, and before Steve ever came and stuff, like, this team wasn't even going to the conference tournament. And to know that, like, in the past 5 years or so, it's just made a tremendous improvement. They went from not going to conference, and now we're here, we're ranked top 75.
Earlier this month, the Islanders men's team took home the win in the HEB Tournament of Champions for the first time in the tournament's 47 years.
It was very good. I mean, it's the first time we win in school history. I feel so much pride in me and my teammates and my coach because it was a tough tournament since the beginning of the first round, and then we could win the tournament and won the next match in Monday was very good for us. And being ranked 51, it's the first time for me, and it feels really good to be ranked.
Both the men's and women's teams have shown dedication, not just to improving their play, but to the team mentality. Director of tennis Steve Moore has worked to instill this mentality in each player.
In the start for me was hard, but I think I learned a lot of things in this year, and also I think that he's a player really competitive, and this make us like to fight like crazy, to fight every point.
You know, we're only looking for one type of kid. We're looking for a great teammate, a great student, and a great hard worker. And they've got to meet those three criteria, or honestly, we don't want them here. Because it takes those three things to fit in to the family atmosphere that we promote.
With the program's great success, one might be worried that the team might relax. But this Islanders team still has the drive and focus to achieve their bigger goals.
I expect so many things. One of them is win the conference. We're so excited for that. Like, I think we practice every single day with just that goal in our mind, like win the conference, because I think we know that we can do it, and we're like so excited for that. We really want to.
Oh, I tell you what, we talk about this all the time. You got to stay in the present, and you got to chop wood. And as soon as you quit doing either one of those two things and you start handing people your resume, that's when you're in deep trouble. We've got to really stay focused here. Our goals, we've met one of our goals, and that is wonderful. And I'm proud for these kids, because their hard work has really paid off for them, as Doris said yesterday. But that's just one of our goals. We want 2 conference championships. We want to go deep into the NCAAs with both teams, and we want to do that for our seniors and for this university.
For Islanders Insider, I'm Teddy Medina.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. We continue to come to you from the locker room today. We'll talk some women's basketball with the head coach of the Islander women's team, Coach Royce Chadwick. Coach, appreciate it.
Morning, Steve.
Coach, season has come to an end. It's been a long season, there's no doubt. The final weekend, your team ultimately gets to split against Northwestern State and Stephen F. Austin, picking up the win in Natchitoches, Louisiana. One thing about your gals is they put in this tremendous effort, and it paid off on the weekend with the win over Northwestern State. Always great to get a road win.
Well, it's a very difficult place to play. The arena at Natchitoches is unique, to say the least. Played in there when I was at Sam. I played in there when I was at Stephen F. Austin, and you know, we've been over there a lot of times with better talent than what they had and lost basketball games. This time I thought we went in with the right disposition, the right attitude, and you know, we just ground out a victory. I think we shot 11% from the three-point line and about 30% from the two-point line. We just hounded them on the boards and did all the little things that it takes to eke out a win. And honestly, with this team, that's about the only way we could win games, is just to grind them out, win them 51-50.
You did win such a close battle, and as we were following it back here, you know, it just seemed like we were making the play when we had to make the play down the stretch, and sometimes that was always a challenge for us, but this time we kind of reveled in it.
Well, you know, you watch what goes on in March, and you're going to see the margin between teams get smaller and smaller and smaller. There's so much videotape out there. Every tendency of every player is broken down, analyzed, scrutinized, so that you know this girl turning to her left shoulder shoots 47%. Turning to her right shoulder, you know, she'll shoot 32%. So everybody is sitting on that left shoulder to make them do things that they don't do well. And you have somebody that just rises to the occasion and makes a play. At Northwestern, Brandy Huff rose to the occasion. We're down one. She hits a big basket. They go down and score. She comes back, hits another basket to put us up one again. So you have players that just step up, and you know, when the situation calls for them to be big time, they were big time.
Well, that's great. Of course, for Brandy in particular, a player like herself, struggled in the early part of the year, finishes very strong, and she'll be coming back for her senior year. Now, let's talk about that. 5 outgoing seniors, but you have a number of juniors coming back that will be your seniors. What are your expectations for those ladies?
Well, I think it's day to day. You know, we want to have our meeting, sit down with every individual. We'll look at their stats, what they posted this year. We'll talk about what you have to do in this off season to have the luxury to be on this basketball team. So it starts with us the Monday after our spring break. We will be in the weight room, and we're going to sit down with them and tell them, this is what you're lifting, this is what you should be lifting at the end of the school year. This is your vertical, this is what your vertical should be. So we have to meet our numbers. So, you know, everybody is in a situation where they have to buy into what we're going to do in the off season, simply because you look at a girl like Ashante Plummer. She is going to make or break herself in what she does between now and August, because she is a freshman that needs to add weight, she needs to add bulk, she needs to get stronger, because she got pushed around a lot, especially in November. You go up against Texas and Colorado, those post players just really shoved her out of the lane. I mean, she was almost inconsequential there. As the year went on, she got tougher, she got stronger, and I think she understood what it takes to play at this level. But this offseason is huge for her.
Coaching from game to game is one thing, but coaching from season to season is a completely different animal. Tell me about that, what it's like for you and your staff.
Well, right now is the one time that the NCAA will allow us to make off-campus contacts runs through March. So we have to get those off-campus contacts done. We will be on the road talking to coaches. We'll be on the road talking to players. We are trying to set the table for our future recruiting. We will have some additional signees in April. We are working on those girls right now, and then next fall we need to have those girls sort of lined out by the end of this of March. In April, we'll be bringing people on campus. We'll have opportunities to show them the university. We'll have unofficial visits. We'll have official visits. In the meantime, our players are in the weight room. We get some limited skill instruction, and it'll probably be me most of the time doing the skill instruction while the assistants are out recruiting.
When you look back on the season, can you pinpoint a specific moment, the best thing that happened this year?
Signed 6 players in the fall was really a good thing. I mean, I did not know what our recruiting situation would be. You know, we hadn't recruited to Corpus. You know, we sold the fans. What a great fan base we have. We sold the ABC Center. We sold the Dugan Wellness Center. We sold Corpus Christi, and we were 6 for 6 on the players that we went after. So, being able to start the year before we ever played a game, knowing that we had some talent on the way and we had upgraded our talent was a huge asset for us. I guess one of the highlights, I ran into an official at a junior college tournament, and he said, "Coach, I'm going to tell you something. A bunch of us were talking, and nobody plays as hard as y'all do. Nobody plays as good a defense as y'all do. And I know with your record how difficult that must be for you." And it really was a challenge for our players, but they rose to the occasion. When you're 29-2, it's very easy to go out there and fight for 40 minutes because you know you're going to win. But when you are not winning, it's really hard to fight for 40 minutes because it's always a situation of, oh no, here it comes. But these girls went through a lot of adversity, and they rose to the occasion.
Well, it is a reflection on the kids themselves, a reflection on you and your staff, on what you've been able to accomplish, what you've been able to get from them. And it's something special. It is really something special. And again, talking with different coaches and stuff and seeing all the tapes, do you have any thoughts regarding the Southland Conference and with the tournament coming up, who do you think it's going to come down to?
Well, I think it's a toss-up. You know, obviously Oral Roberts and Sam are the two teams that are, you know, that showed during the regular season they could do it. Both of them have, you know, seniors that are off the charts and have set all kinds of records at their schools. You know, the one thing that I'm looking forward to is a month from now we're back in the tournament. You know, I mean, we are in a situation where we can win it. And my whole focus, you know, we did the tie toss, and JCPenney was gracious enough to help us with that tie toss, and we are appreciative. But when I threw that tie in the stands at Stephen F. Austin, we started the focus for next season's tournament. And we need to go with the thought that we're going out there to win the thing. And that'll be our focus.
I know that you have expectations for yourself, expectations for your staff, you know, about when you transition to okay, what's next? You know, you mentioned the athletes. So you're saying they have a week off to maybe just to decompress, but then it's back to the grind starting Monday.
Well, honestly, if we didn't have spring break, we'd be going, you know, with our team today. I've had teams in the past that on the way back from a conference tournament came up to me and said, Coach, when are we meeting? And I said, well, you know, I'm going to give you a couple of days off. They said, can we meet Sunday? Because we're not doing this again. And that taught me a lesson of, you know, how much time does a basketball player really need to not pick up a basketball? When you're 24 years old and you have graduated, there's a lot of time that you can't even get in the gym and not pick up a basketball. The gym's open today, and why would you waste that? Because 4 years flies by, and this was the worst season I've ever had, and I'm not doing this again.
Well, I understand. Get to work, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right, Stephen, thank you.
Coach Royce Chadwick joining us here in the locker room, all part of Islanders Insider. When we come back, we'll bring you up to speed on what's next for Islanders athletics. Stay with us. Islanders Insider continues.
What's Massage Envy Spa? For me, it's healthy, it's affordable. I mean, he always wants
pain relief.
Right. And I want a healthier complexion. And now we can get a customized massage or a healthy skin facial.
At a really good price.
At a great price. And nothing feels better than that.
Customized massages and healthy skin facials, all at the perfect price. Start a healthy routine today with Massage Envy Spa.
Go, you'll see.
Welcome back to the locker room and Islanders Insiders. We wrap things up today. Appreciate Royce Chadwick and Willis Wilson being with us here as the basketball season has concluded. Right now, let's look ahead to what's next for Islanders athletics. Islander baseball will head out on the road this week as they travel to Texas State. Friday, March 15th, they'll open up a 3-game series at 6:30, returning on Saturday the 16th and March 17th with a 2 p.m. and 1 p.m. start respectively. Also, there'll be a single game at Chapman Field coming up on Monday, March 18th at 6 o'clock as the Islanders host Harvard University. Islanders softball will begin a 3-game conference series at McNeese State. That's Saturday, March 16th with a doubleheader that begins at 2 o'clock, and then Sunday, March 17th as Game 3 gets underway at noon. Men's tennis will head out to Houston, Texas to play in the Rice Galleria Team Invitational. Friday, March 15th, they'll take on Oregon at 10 a.m., and then Saturday, March 16th, they'll face Radford, that time to be determined, and Sunday versus Rice, also a time to be determined. Islanders women's tennis will also head to Houston, Texas as they take on Rice University. That's Tuesday, March 19th at 3 p.m. And Islander track and field continues as well as they'll head down to the Cactus Cup in Kingsville. That's Saturday, March 16th, and it'll be an all-day affair. Once again, I want to thank Willis Wilson and Royce Chadwick for being with us here today. Thank you to Teddy Medina bringing us our tennis story for the day. And of course, thank you for tuning in. I'm Stephen King. We'll see you next week on Islanders Insider.